Hey guys, I'm back with more Katawa Shoujo. In the last episode, we went to the festival and Emmy stopped us from eating some fried food, and then we went to Rin to look at her mural, and then that's pretty much it. That scene played, which was pretty cute. Still not sure what to make of it. The last part with him with Hisao holding her, you know, on his shoulders. My alarm's beeping shatters the early morning quiet, and I find myself wondering where to find the motivation to rise. Class to is still quite far off, but I agreed to run with Emmy in the mornings. Really, I'm not that interested in running as a hobby or even as a possible life lengthening exercise. However, I feel obligated to follow through on my promise to Emmy yesterday, which is why I find myself throwing on some running shorts and a light t shirt. The cool morning air caresses my face as the morning sunshine causes the dew on the grass to sparkle, nearly blinding me at first. As I make my way down to the track, an ugly thought strikes me. What if this is some sort of joke that Emmy's playing on me? Would that surprise me, really? Hell, I'd probably do it as a new guy, too. At the very least, I'm sure Emmy and Rin made a bet on whether or not I'd actually show up. I feel a sense of trepidation as the track comes into view. You're late. It would seem that Emmy's already here. Is already there. What a relief. Not according to my watch. We both are early, in fact. Damn, you've got me there. Emmy is sitting on the bleachers, decked out in her running gear, waiting somewhat patiently for me. I'm glad you're actually here. I was afraid that this was a joke or something. Nah, I'd never make someone get up early for nothing. Plus, Rin owes me 500 yen now. She didn't think you'd actually show up. I knew it. Nice to know Emmy was on my side at least. Emmy hops off the bleachers and begins stretching out. She's remarkably little. No, not little. Lithe. Almost like a dancer. I set out to stretch as well, but then realized that I don't exactly remember how to stretch properly. It's been ages since I stretched for anything, if you don't count my one stint at running last week. And even then, I don't think I actually stretched beforehand. The specter of my long hospital stay rises up again. I can't say, not stay. I was all that active before the hospital stay. Though so maybe I'm just being more so. No, not more so. Morose, I guess. Emmy giggles as she watches me stretch out. No, Hisao. You're got to hold it for longer than that. I'm trying. It kind of hurts a little. That's because you're out of shape. You've got to get some flexibility in you like this. To demonstrate, Emmy reaches down and puts her head through her legs. God bless you, Emmy. I see it. I see. Is that the sort of thing I should try for? Of course, flexibility is more important for any runner. You'll be able to go faster the more you stretch out. That makes no sense to me, but Emmy seems to believe it's true. With Emmy's help, I managed to stretch myself out properly. I couldn't help but notice that when she thinks about how to explain things to me, her mouth scrunches up in concentration. It's adorable. Not bad, Hisao. Come on, we'd better start running. We'll start off with just a mile, okay? That's 4 laps around the track, got it? That sounds fine to me. This shouldn't be too hard, right? A hazy memory of running a mile for gym class surfaces in my mind. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Amy sets a pretty good pace, and I fall in behind her. Try to keep up, okay, Hisao? Roger. We found the first curve without incident. We not found, the first curve without incident, though I can already feel my heart rate increasing slightly. By the second curve, I've started to breathe through my mouth. Amy doesn't even seem to be breaking a sweat. As if to punctuate her superiority, she turns around and starts running backwards. Are you doing okay, Hisao? Never better. Oh really? Maybe I should speed up then, Oh no, wouldn't want you to overexert yourself. My heavy panting and wheezing makes the statement less convincing than I had hoped. Emmy simply smiles and turns around again. You're the boss, Isao. We'll stay at this pace. I get the feeling that I'm being mocked. If I weren't in such terrible shape, I'd probably feel offended. By the third lap, my breath is coming in ragged gasps. I'm also awash in my own sweat. Gross. We round the curve to start our fourth lap, and Emmy looks back at me with a grin. Here we go. She takes off at blinding speed while I stubbornly stick to my slower pace. By the time I get to the first turn, she's already rounding the second. As I struggle across the black stretch, Emmy continues running and catches up to me. Come on, Hisao, you can do it. I'd answer her, but I'm too focused on getting air into my lungs and ignoring the burning in my leg muscles. Part of me wants to say something like, maybe you can, but I'm not about to die here. But again, I doubt I can actually form words right now. Emmy keeps pace with me as I round the second turn and cross the finish line. Her sprint seems to have gotten her sweating. It's actually caused her shirt to turn slightly translucent. It seems she wears a black sports bra. I feel a vague stab of guilt for being the sort of guy who stares at a girl's chest, but my legs and chest are burning so badly I can't bring myself to care that much. Not bad for first effort, Hisao. Kind of you to say so. Amy seems to be, if not out of breath, at least breathing a little more heavily than she was before we started running. It must have been the sprint that did it. Hey, I've got to get a few sprints in. We should walk around the track to cool down. Then we can stretch out and we'll be done. All done, okay? Sounds great. My legs are on fire and my breathing is still heavy, but surprisingly my heart seems to be taking the strain well. Another triumph of medical science, I suppose. You should put your hands behind your head. It makes it easier to catch your breath. Surprisingly, she's right. I begin to troll down the track, happy to feel my breath coming back to me. There's a blur as Emmy sprints by me. Watching her run is absolutely fascinating. It's not just because she's on prosthetics, though that is interesting. The real interesting is the way her face changes. I can only catch glimpses of it as she runs by, but her eyes seem to come alive with its sort of fierce joy. It's as if there's nothing else in the world but her and the track. By the time I've gotten to the final stretch, Emmy seems to have finished her sprinting. She's breathing heavily now, but she's wearing a satisfied grin on her face. She waves to me clearly as I near her. Feeling better, right? Actually, yeah. Do you want to take another lap around with me? I've got to cool down too, you know. Part of me would rather sit down and not move, but something tells me that would be a bad idea. Besides, if I sit down, there may be no getting back up again. Sure, why not? Emmy's got her hands behind her now as well, which makes her seem very relaxed. The positioning of her arms also pulls her shirt upwards ever so slightly so that I can see a small strip of her belly. I do my best to act the gentleman and not look, but the contrast of her skin against her red running shorts is rather arresting. So how do you feel, Hisao? Surprisingly good. Actually, I'm sore and tired, but surprisingly good. As soon as I say it, I realize that it's true. Sure, part of me wants to lay down and die, but I feel like I've accomplished something. It's almost like a glow throughout my body, like that persists despite the soreness. Yeah, that's the runner's high. Runner's high? Yeah, it has something to do with adrenaline? Amy thinks for a moment as we talk, trying to remember. Then she shrugs and grins at me. I don't actually remember. It's a good feeling though, isn't it? Better than... What? Better than sex, right? I opened my mouth to respond shortly before processing what she just said. Harry watches my face for a moment before bursting into laughter. Sorry, I couldn't resist. You're just too easy. Why did I agree to run with you again? Emmy just laughs harder. She takes a hold of my forearm and tilts it, allowing her to get a better view of my watch. Her face changes the moment she sees the time. Oh no, we better get a move on, Hisao. Class is in an hour, and I need to shower. I should probably do that as well. I need to see the nurse too. Maybe he'll write me a note for being late. Why do you need to see the nurse? Amy points to her prosthetics as if that would explain everything. It's important to check for irritation. From sweat or friction or anything. Normally I only go after practice, but if you're going to be doing these morning runs, then I guess I'll see him twice a day. Wait, so Emmy has only started doing these runs since I showed up? If it's more convenient for you to run with me at a later time, don't be silly. I've been meaning to start running in the morning for a while now. But if I didn't have a partner to run with, I'd be less likely to keep up a routine. It's always harder to blow off a commitment, if you're going to let someone else down, So you'll be my running partner for the mornings. We both need to exercise, so it all works out, don't you think? Yeah, perfect. Did it have to be me though? Well, I guess I can't complain too much. Emmy's pretty fun to hang out with. And she's right, I do need the exercise. Doctor's orders even. Emmy waves a quick goodbye to me. Right, I'm off. Come have lunch with us, okay? What? Lunch. The meal? In the middle of the day? Come have it with us. Where? The rooftop. Bryn likes it up there. When? Lunchtime. When else? That was a silly question. Yeah, but I sort of felt the need to ask all three for completeness' sake. Emmy laughs and grins. I don't think I've ever seen a girl smile so much before. Not bad, he saw. See ya. With that, she takes off like a shot for the school building. I guess she's going to see the nurse first. I hurry back to my room and hop in the shower, only to find that the water takes a while to heat up. The shock of the cold water nearly kills me. I manage to warm the water a bit and spend some quality time feeling my muscles loosen. My heart surprisingly feels the least bothered by the run. I suppose that's a good thing, even if it does make me feel like a bit of a wuss. I mean, at least I'd have an excuse beyond I'm out of shape if my heart was bothering me. Guess I'll have to keep this running thing up, otherwise I'm sure Emmy won't let me hear the end of it. It's only after I get out and dry myself off that I realize that I have only 10 minutes left to put my clothes on and get to class. Crap. The hands on the clock finally set me free from the tedium of yet another fun-filled class. Blech. Getting up from my seat proves to be more of a problem than I anticipated. My legs were killing me from the morning's run. Maybe doing these with Emmy isn't such a hot idea after all. Still, the run's giving me a hell of an appetite. I'm halfway down the hallway to the cafeteria when I remember that I've got my lunch with me. My parents saw it fit to provide me with some prepackaged stuff when I moved in, and a good thing too. The hallway is packed with students headed for the cafeteria. Going back is like swimming upstream, but I've got an appointment to keep on the rooftop. It takes me a moment to find the staircase leading up to the rooftop, but I'm willing to bet that Emmy and Rin aren't up there and by now anyway. In fact, I think I saw Emmy among the bodies. Bodies? What? In the hallway headed for the cafeteria. I step out of the door to the roof and take a deep breath. The fresh air blowing against my face and body almost make my legs hurt less. Maybe if I'm upside down, part of me wants to be surprised that Rin's already up here. What's that going to accomplish? Things in the clouds? Couldn't you just look at them right side up? Rin rolls her eyes in something approaching as aspiration. Then I wouldn't get a new perspective. Is upside down really a new perspective? Aha, that caught her off guard. Rin looks pensive. You may have a point, maybe sideways. As Lin lay down on the bench to look at that sky, I give up. Fortunately, Emmy chooses that moment to burst through the door, carrying 2 bags. She nearly takes the door off the hinges. Sorry it took me so long. There was a ton of people in line. She drops off the first bag in front of Rin and takes a seat on the bench next to her. You buy Rin's lunch for her? Sometimes, yeah, I'd have Rin buy my lunch for me in return, but I'm not sure how she'd carry it. Plus, I'd never buy her lunch. If Rin's offended by Emmy's comment, she doesn't show it. Emmy sniffs. How ungrateful of you. I'm not sure whether the two are joking or with one another, or if I'm witnessing the beginnings of a catfight. The two girls stare at one another for a few tense moments before breaking into smiles. Hey, Amy, do you think being upside down is a new perspective on things? Didn't I really have this conversation? Amy looks thoughtful, apparently giving the question some thought. After a deep and profound pause, she speaks. I have no idea. Well, at least she's as lost as I am. Hey, Hisao, you're coming to the track meet, right? The question comes out of the blue and catches me off guard. I don't know yet. Honestly, Hisao, after I went through all the trouble of letting you run with me in the morning, you won't even show up at my track meet? Wasn't she the one that asked me to run with her? Actually, she'd even give me a choice in the matter. Wait, no, I didn't say that. She beams at me as I agreed. Words. She beams at me as if I'd just agreed to give her $1 million. So you will come after all. That's great. I didn't say that either. I'll be going too. So I'll make sure he comes, Amy. Good idea, Rin. Maybe we can get some food or something after the meet's over. I feel like I've just been conned, my brain. But not by these two. More like by some outside force, pushing me irrevocably toward my destiny. Or maybe I shouldn't read books that feature conspiracy theories so heavily, otherwise I might wind up something like Kinji. Still, I suppose that I've got to show up now. I don't think that I could stand against both of them being disappointed. I'd never hear the end of it. When is it again? Next week, silly. I just told you a few days ago. No, you didn't. I forgot? Well, you won't forget to come though, will you? Of course I won't. I'll even make a note on the calendar or something. Rin nods sagely. That's probably a good idea, you know, so unless time changes its course. It can do that? Rin gives a non-committal shrug. It hasn't yet, but you never know. This time it's Emmy who gives a shrug. I suppose it can't be helped if it happens. Not unless you're a time traveler or something. You don't actually think that could happen, do you? I don't think we do we? Rin shrugs again. That seems to be her default response to everything. I suppose not, but I reserve the right to change my opinion at a moment's notice. For Rin, the statement makes a disturbing amount of sense. The fact that I realize this now frightens me a bit. I wonder if Emmy gets this feeling all the time. If she does, she's not showing it, although Emmy merely nods. As expected. Whoops. Alright. Slightly longer episode, but I'll see you guys next time for more Katawa Shoujo. Not Shoujo. Shoujo! Yeah.